Welcome to the April edition of the Hornet Spotlight as we come back for the final 8 weeks of the 2017-2018 school year. And just a lot going on. We're going to pack a lot of stuff into those 8 weeks. Starting next week with the juniors, about 100 juniors are going to sit for the SAT school day, which is a great opportunity, and 100 of our juniors are going to take advantage of that. They signed up for that before break. Parents, if you're a parent of a freshman or sophomore, make sure next year that they don't miss the opportunity to do this. This is a free SAT with the essay, about an $80 test that they will be taking for free here at Beech Grove. Don't have to go anywhere to do it. They'll be right here. So that will happen a week from tomorrow, the 10th of April. And then unfortunately, the week after that, the sophomores will take part 2 of the I-STEP, the graduation qualifying portion of I-STEP for the sophomores, and a handful of juniors that still need to finish up on that. And that will take us pretty much into May. So a lot of testing going on in the month of April. Also, a lot of things going on. The counselors are finishing up the master schedule for next year. Most students are already scheduled for next year, but I'm sure the counselors will be filling that in pretty quickly. Ms. Anderson and some of her staff will be working on the Community Service Day, which will occur this week, which is always a big day in the spring semester. We're hoping for decent weather so our people can go out and serve the citizens of Beech Grove, our students, I should say. And then, hopefully, weather permitting, we will have the beginning of fall sports. I think we've had a few rainouts already from track and baseball and softball even. I don't think the tennis is on the schedule yet, but a lot of the spring sports have been practicing inside very diligently, and we look forward to a really good spring sports season after a really stellar winter season with some great conference champions and some really fine performances by our students. So look forward to seeing those student athletes this spring, of course culminating with graduation the Saturday before Memorial Day in May. So getting a little ahead of ourselves. We have a full and fun April heading into the spring. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and we'll get off to a great start for the spring sports. Also, as is our custom, we have the Renaissance Committee selection for the alumni of the month for the month of April. And this time we tapped the class of 1973 for Mr. Rich Kidwell. And congratulations, Rich. Thank you for coming in.
I appreciate it.
Rich was selected by the Renaissance Committee and is a member of the class, as I said, a member of the class of 73. So Rich will start out talking about Beech Grove High School. I think if I understood you right before we started, you were the first Kidwell student to actually come to Beech Grove. Prior to that, they went elsewhere. It became a little different situation for you, so you were the first Kidwell to go through Beech Grove, and you're the first Kidwell graduate of your family.
No, all four years. I had an older brother,
Okay.
Mike, that graduated in the class of 68.
All right.
He went to Chartrand High School for 2 years and then came over here, and he actually wrestled for Mr. Bain, I believe, back then. And but he actually was the first Kidwell to graduate.
All right.
2 ahead of me didn't. They went to the Catholic high school. But then starting with me, we had another 7 kids altogether. So we ended up at Beech Grove.
Oh. And I think it's been a very good family. Actually, we have your sister in our office right now working for us, and we couldn't live without her. So tell us a little bit about Beech Grove High School in 73. We were in this building that we're still in, and everybody was pretty much in here, and you were doing regular days at that time, correct?
Correct.
What were some of the activities going on at that time? Some of your memories, teachers, clubs, organizations, what was happening in town? What were kids doing in Beech Grove in 73, early 70s?
Well, early 70s, I mainly relate everything to sports. I mean, I played football and I wrestled and played baseball. So most of my activities all, pertain to sports and stuff. I came from Holy Name grade school, the 8 years before then. So, but back then, probably half our class though ended up going to Beech Grove, and so I knew a lot of kids there, but meeting a lot of new friends and stuff was a big part of going to Beech Grove for the junior high. And then we only had the 3 classes here when I was in school.
Okay.
We had the sophomore, juniors, and seniors at the high school. Freshmen were at the junior high where we started.
Okay, and you mentioned you were in 3 sports.
Mm-hmm.
Who were the coaches at that time? Who'd you play for?
Dave Topping, who was a great coach that I think that might have been his last year. He moved on to Michigan because a team in Michigan, the 3 years we were there, or that I played with, I think we were 8-2, 9-1, and then 6-4 our last year. And but he got a job somewhere else. And if I can say this is kind of funny, but I played a little bit of offense, but mainly defense and punted. And our last game, our senior year, we were beating a team pretty bad. And I called one of the last plays of the game was a pass to myself, and had a sophomore quarterback in at the time, Mike Patrick. And he kind of jumped up and saw that I was covered. And anyway, I just kept going. He floated it over their head. I scored the last touchdown of our senior year, the only touchdown I scored at Beech Grove. And but I go off, and Dave Topping's jumping, stamping on his hat and stuff because I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Well, that made it 63-0." And he said, "I know how it feels to be at the other end of that." So, but anyway, and then wrestling under Coach Bain was, a great treat. McNamara, my senior year, and stuff. But Mr. Bain was probably the person I probably looked up to more than anybody while I was at Beech Grove. I thought he was a great guy. He was, still is.
Still is, and he still works for Beech
Still
Grove.
is a great guy. I run into him every now and then.
And I run into him every morning. He's delivering the mail and out running the pony.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm in that kind of shape when I get to be his age.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. Great guy, a fabulous guy. So at that point in time, since sports was a big part of your life, off air prior to the interview, you talked about, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to be a teacher and a coach.
Right.
And it's kind of hard. It's hard to miss that in talking about what you were talking about there. So talk about your mindset, where you headed once you graduated, what you were going to do, and how that unfolded at the next level of education.
I was pretty naive when it came to looking at schools and stuff like that in college. I don't know what the problem was, but my older brother had gone to Ball State. My older sister had gone to Ball State, so I signed up at Ball State. And but I wanted to be a coach in high school, so I wanted to teach math. And that was one of the things I did at Beech Grove. I really appreciated it. Was math was really my main subject. I mean, I wasn't very good at any, too many other subjects but math. And but I took 5 years of math. I was in the 5th year math class, which really helped a lot moving on to school. But I was going to teach math and then coach, and then got a little behind in some of the math classes, and trying to catch up was going to be hard, so I ended up switching. Well, actually, I switched when I was in math. Instead of teaching, I was going to go into actuarial science. I thought, if I'm going to take all this math, I'm going to, maybe apply it to a job that may pay a little more.
Make some money.
Yeah.
And
so
teaching, don't think so.
Yeah. So, but then I ended up, switching from there to accounting, and ended up graduating with an accounting degree from Ball State, and studied really hard to get my CPA, because I figured if I could get my CPA certificate, that to me that was kind of job security,
Right.
for a long time.
Sure.
I mean, that you can get a lot of jobs having a CPA, degree. So I got the certificate, and then I worked with a CPA firm here in town, Katz-Sapper & Miller, which is a pretty big local firm, and worked there for a couple years, and then actually started my own practice for about 9 years, and just the accounting practice, doing tax mainly. And then a good friend of mine, we talked a little bit earlier off there, Joe Matus, Mad Dog's brother, Joe Matus, had been working at Merrill Lynch and asked me to come to work with him. And at first I said, I can't do that. I've got 3 daughters, they're in Catholic schools and a mortgage and all that. I can't go into a business where it's a commission-based business with Merrill Lynch. And so he said, at least interview with us. So I went and interviewed, and when I walked out from the manager, it was like, I don't see why I can't take the job. They've guaranteed me a salary for 2 years and so on. And so that was 27 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since.
Still there. Go back to a comment you made on the Ball State. When you got your degree, did did you walk out of Ball State with a CPA license?
No.
Okay.
It was different back then.
Yeah.
It's a lot tougher now, I believe.
Everything seems to be. Everything seems to be.
I mean, they say CPA is you couldn't pass again, is the acronym. But back then, you had to have an accounting degree, and then you only gave the test twice a year, May and November. And once they gave the test, you didn't know for 3 months whether you passed or not, because everything was sent to New York, and there was a lot of essay questions and stuff like that. It wasn't just, all A, B, C, D answers and stuff. So you only had twice a year to take the test. And then once you passed the exam, you could pass 2 parts of it. There were 4 parts. You could pass 2 parts of it, and then only have to take the other 2 the next time. And if you passed 1, then you would only have to take the other 1 and stuff. To get all 4 parts done, and then you needed 2 years of accounting experience with like a CPA firm, or 4 years of another, like a corporation or something like that, or government accounting, to actually get your certificate.
Okay, and so the line of work you're in now, you're basically a financial advisor now. Correct. And what are some of the things you like about that job? You've been doing it 27 years. You got to be liking that.
Right.
What makes that? What gets you going to work every morning besides the paycheck, obviously?
Right. And most days aren't too bad, except for days like today. I don't know if you noticed the market today. When I left the office, when I left the office, the Dow was down 500 points today.
It's not good news.
Those aren't the good days, okay? but it's kind of like you got to put up the good with the bad, and stuff. And I would say the biggest part of it is, I think, being able to help people with their finances, because so many people and we do a lot of 401k plans, retirement plans, and so that's usually the biggest part of their nest egg is their retirement plan. Okay, most people, they save and save and save, and they try and save the others, but putting kids through college and the mortgage and everything else, it's a lot harder to save. But at least, they generally save for retirement. So when they are through working, that's when we can come in and help them to use that money to last them, in essence, to replace their paycheck for the rest of their life. And it's a good feeling to know when you can take care of people's future like that, I mean, and I'll be honest, I'm looking for the day when I can,
You'd be one of them.
Right. When I can go to bed and only have to worry about my money,
It's if you take your job seriously, it's a pretty awesome responsibility. It is. It's being a person that's getting close to that point. I've got a lot of faith in my guy too.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. You alluded to your family earlier. Tell us a little bit about the brothers and sisters. We'll talk about brothers and sisters first, then we'll go on to your family.
Okay. Yeah, we had there were 10 kids in our family. We grew up on just 5th and Main, basically in Beech Grove, and I have 5. Well, there were 5 boys and 5 girls. I have two older brothers, 2 younger brothers, and then 5 sisters. And it was tough, growing up. But I think the big difference, though, now compared to back then, and this may sound silly, but without the internet and everything, back we grew up, when we started, we had 3 TV stations,
Yep.
And that was it. So I think it was one of those, it's like, I'm not saying we were poor, but like we didn't know we were poor. Now when you're on the internet and you see everything, it's all around the world and what everybody has and doesn't have and stuff like that. I think it's, a little more obvious where you stand, But back then we didn't. I mean, we always had clothes and, and meals and stuff like that and stuff. But so it was good. Our family, we were a pretty close family. We still are. We had Easter at our house yesterday. Had 86 people, I think, at our from all my brothers and sisters and their kids and their kids' kids and stuff at our house yesterday. And luckily, the snow was, overnight and not during the day yesterday, because it'd be pretty crowded in our house. But we were able to get outside and stuff. So I enjoy coming from a big family like that.
And your sons and daughters.
I have 3 daughters.
3 daughters. No sons.
No sons.
Sons-in-law?
I have 2 son-in-laws.
Good for you.
My youngest one just got married last August, and she sent out 553 invitations. You can't have a small, get-together. I mean, with that many people.
Well, I know from Pam's wedding,
Yeah. And hers was out of town, which was, makes it even harder for people to get to. So, and he still had a lot of people, you know, and stuff like that. But I have 3 daughters. The oldest one, in fact, her kids, the 3 of them, my 3 grandkids, go to Beech Grove right now. There's Jack Brandenburg and Austin Brandenburg are 6th grade and 5th grade. And no, and then Lucy Brandenburg is a kindergartner, so she'll be starting 1st grade next year, and has a birthday coming up next week. But
there you go.
So, and then I have another daughter who just left today. They were here for the weekend. Lives in Chicago, and she has a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Spaced them out pretty well.
Yeah, she's got a handful, you know.
Yeah.
And stuff. But, and then the youngest one lives in Milwaukee. Just the one that just got married. And she's been doing very well with Kohl's, their corporate headquarters there, in the buying department and stuff at Kohl's, and now her husband works in the inventory control at Kohl's there too. So
it sounds like they're all out on their own and doing well.
And I better mention my oldest daughter's name is Kelly. So
okay.
That's the one that has Jack and Austin and Lucy, because they live right at 23rd and Southern there in Beech Grove.
So one of them stayed home and the other 2 went north.
Right. And it's funny. I mean, out of the whole Kidwell family, you know, like out of 100, you know, or so going down the road, there's only I think 3 that have actually left the area. I mean, you know, the Indianapolis South Side area and stuff. Those, and 2 of them have to be mine, of course. Yeah,
so you're getting close. What do you want to do when you do have nothing but your money to worry about? What are you looking forward to?
Golf. I like to golf. I mean, I'm not very good, and most of my friends will tell you that have played with me and stuff. But I still like to play, you know. And I think that's a big part of it. I think having more time to spend with the grandkids, you know, and especially the ones that are out of town, you know, that way we'll be able to go there more often and stay for, you know, a week at a time and visit with them, and instead of just kind of a long weekend and stuff like that. But so I think spending time with the family and friends and
sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Do a little bit of traveling and stuff, but yeah.
Well, again, we've been with Mr. Rich Kidwell from the class of 1973, the alumnus of the month selected by the Renaissance Committee. We have 1 left. He is number 8 for this school year. We have 1 left for May, and we look forward to making that presentation next month as we close in on graduation. I know it's an exciting time for a lot of students in this building, and I know it's an exciting time for faculty and staff, and we're all looking forward to having a great finish to this school year, to this month, and the next month of May, and enjoying some relaxing times in June. So again, thank you for watching. Again, Rich, congratulations.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Token of our appreciation for you coming in. And we appreciate Rich, and we appreciate Rich's family down in the office there too. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month on the Hornet Spotlight.